Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. So today I want to go ahead and talk about the fact that Jaime French is currently being kind of canceled by the anti-FA space. So two of the biggest names are Obese to Beast and Michelle McDaniel. They've both come after her. Michelle was a lot more aggressive with it. Obese to Beast was very playing it safe, as in my opinion, he usually does. I think it's interesting to me just because I think the entire situation, it's another one of those things where I realize how unproductive a lot of YouTube can be. And I'm not sitting here trying to judge and trying to be like, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't want to pull a Jaime French and act like I'm holier than thou with anything. I'm not. When it comes to YouTube drama, when it comes to all these different aspects that, gossip and these types of things, I'm usually all there. It's not anything wrong with things being entertaining, nothing like that. So I need to say that out the gate. But what interests me about this situation is just that there really are not that many solutions. I think Jaime French, as a creator, I'm not completely versed on her, but she seems to just kind of be a creator who happens to be fat rather than a fat creator. I think that she is very much somebody who has talked about trying to lose weight, or somebody who has, she went on Ozempic, for example. That's something that she talked about. I don't consider her to be fat activist, but I do find it interesting that because she defended Amberlynn Reid, she's suddenly a fat activist. And I think that that's not true at this point. She might be slipping into it, but that hasn't occurred yet. But I feel like there's a lot of hunger, pun intended, for content within anti-FA spaces. And I think that Jaime French just defending Amberlynn Reid is kind of like, I'm going to be real, I think it was a troll. I think Jaime is trolling. And I don't think she's doing it very well. I don't think she can handle it. Like, trolling on YouTube is really, it's a very caustic way to get views. And I did a little poll on this channel, and I wanted to know like how you guys felt about more trolling content versus more serious. And a lot of you guys actually lean more towards the trolling side, which is interesting to me. And I get it. I think there's a theatric element to it, and I'm definitely with it. And I'll take the feedback because, again, YouTubers, we're here to a certain extent cater to our audiences, not 100%. That would never be me. That isn't me. But what's interesting is just, if you're going to do it that way, you have to deal with the hate. And I think Jaime French, she wanted the anti-Amberlynn Reid people to come into her channel to flood her algorithm or to do certain things. She wanted to get engagement. And that's why she did it. And I think it's the same reason why Michelle McDaniel and Obese to Beast talked about Jaime French. I think it's because they're wanting that engagement and there's a topic to talk about. And I think a lot of times on YouTube, and especially right now in the anti-FA space, there is very much this energy of a hammer looking for a nail. If there's anything going on, you will be attacked, basically. And I find that to be interesting. I think it's an interesting place where the anti-FA movement is. I think because it's been largely successful. And a lot of times when things are more successful, it starts to have a little bit more infighting. And we saw this with Megan Ann when she did her video basically attacking right-wing fitness people. And she really created a political divide within the anti-FA space, which I do agree that it was kind of there, but she divided the space. And I think we're seeing more division in anti-FA And that is something that I don't really know where to navigate, and I think as a creator and as somebody who cares deeply about this issue for very obvious reasons, obesity, it could have taken my life, let's keep it 100. I was definitely at that level. And so this issue is extremely important to me. And while I love trolling and stuff, I do care about the actual impacts of this movement and of this type of thing. And I just worry about anti-FA becoming too much of a gimmick, just too much. It can be a little bit of one. I don't think there's anything wrong with it being entertaining, but I do worry about the implications of like this movement becoming very fractured. And it's not so much that I'm super, super worried about FA taking over the world. I know there are a lot of people that are very worried about it. I could see corporations going along with it. Corporate interests are very aligned with fat acceptance rhetoric because being fat is very expensive. It's expensive on every level, medically, food-wise, clothing-wise. Every single expense you have, if you're fat, it's probably 3 times as much as a thin person. I'm just throwing that out there as an estimation. I don't have the numbers here or anything, but I know for food alone, like I had a couple days where I ate a surplus, like around Halloween, and I spent almost 3 times as much as I normally do on a deficit day. So that's pretty drastic. And I'm not doing a light deficit. Like my deficit is 2370. That's pretty like average food wise. So it just goes to show like this is a huge, expense, and corporations love that. So of course, when we see corporations aligning themselves with fat activist talking points, it's important to not think or not equate that with a cultural victory of fat acceptance. That's not true. I can guarantee you, when I go on a dating app, when I go out and try to do something in the world, like if I were to start trying to run or do certain things, you get judgment, which I'm not going to run because I don't really like running and I don't think it's that helpful. But the point is, when you do stuff where fat jiggles, like I filmed a stretching video where I want to post it, but I wore shorts and I'm nervous because my flabby thighs are like hanging around in the video. And it's like, why should I feel nervous to post this? Like, this is what a fat person needs to do. Why is movement and activity for a fat person taboo? And why is it that if I post that, I'm fat acceptancy? So I just worry about that because it's like, I think we need to remember, and I think in the online space, it can be really tempting to assume if a fat person is fat, that they're a fat activist. Or if a fat person has anything to say in defense of fat people, that they're a fat activist. I would never consider myself a fat activist. In my opinion, fat liberation is being liberated from obesity. That's what the definition should be. It should not be anything else because it's horrible. It's a scourge on yourself. It ruins your life. It affects every aspect of your life. I try my best on this channel to talk about all the mental health issues that are involved with obesity that most people don't, even though they're well documented, well talked about. People only ever talk about how you look. It's incredibly frustrating. And so when I sit here and I'm watching these people attack Jaime French, which it's like, I get it. I think Jaime French, as a person, I'm not the biggest fan. But the thing is with me, I don't like a lot of people. So it doesn't really matter. Like, I know that that's bad to say, but I'm not sitting here trying to act like I'm, the nice girly in the high school. I'm not. When I was in middle school, I was the mean girl. I will always say that. I try to like let you know that no, I'm not nice. I never have been. Just because I've gotten healthier, I have a little bit more empathy. and I can kind of see things from other people's points of view, I can also see when they're kind of full of it. And do I think Jaime is full of it when she's defending Amberlynn Reid? Yes, I do. Do I think Jaime would actually sit down and be friends with Amberlynn? No, I don't. I think Jaime would go see Amberlynn, she'd hang out with her, and she would get sick of her, probably within the first day of knowing her. That's a fact. So why is she defending her? For clicks and views. It's just for some money, for a little bit of cha-ching. That's all it is. It's for engagement. But by the same token, is it really a big deal that Jaime French defended her? Not really. It's a story. It's something that you can get for clicks and views, which is where you have Obese to Beast and Michelle McDaniel doing it. And Michelle, I get, Michelle has a little bit of a personal beef, slight, with Jaime French, which I can understand. You know, I have my criticisms towards pretty much everybody in the anti-FA movement. I try to reserve it just because I wanted more unity, but I feel like it's gone. So I feel like I might just start saying things. You guys can let me know if you want me to share my thoughts on some people. But where I think Jaime French went wrong is it's never good to lie about people. That's wrong. So while I do have criticisms of Michelle McDaniel, that does not mean that I think she only makes fun of fat people. I would never say that about her. I think that that is so reductive and just a huge lie. And it's obviously going to make Michelle angry, which again, she basically said in her video, just give me a reason. Just give me a reason to make a video about you. And Jaime did. She made it profitable to talk about her. So it's like, I think, you know, I get questions from some people who want to join the anti-FA movement or want to talk even politics and stuff on YouTube, or they want to discuss certain issues from a moral or political perspective online. And even something like fat acceptance, which in my opinion, it should not be considered really political. It has been fully politicized by the left. I'm sorry. I have to just call it out. It's been fully politicized, just like by Megan Ann. She's on the left. She politicized anti-FA. She did. Fully. She completely politicized it. And she should have criticism for that. She should. It was wrong. But she did it for clicks and views and money. And that's what I think about a lot of people on this space. And again, I'm not sitting here acting like I'm holier than everybody and all this stuff. I'm not. The only difference between me and them is that I want this issue to be over. When I talk about obesity, I want it to be done as much as possible. It doesn't mean it will ever fully go away, but it means that I intend on it being completely obliterated. Like this issue, I want it to be wiped off of the face of this planet, basically. So I will do what it takes. I've decided, even if it's 20 years, I will do it because I want this to change. I don't want this to go on anymore. It's reaching a level where it's completely unsustainable, where we're going to start having massive demographic crashes in certain countries, particularly the United States. You have situations where younger generations have a shorter life expectancy than older generations. This is not sustainable. We will not survive this. We just won't. And I'm not going to sit here and just like be alarmist and extra just to make money and not actually care about the issue. And that's what I want to say about people that get into this space. If you're getting into this space, please have a solution in mind. Please get into the space with something other than money motivating you. Because there will be times when you have to stand up and speak and it won't make you money. You have to have some kind of integrity when it comes to this, because most of the people on YouTube, and this is across all genres, but especially in political, moral, political, religious, even anti-FA, a lot of times people are in it just for the money. and they're in it just for entertainment purposes. And I'm not trying to say that they're bad people. It's not what I'm saying. I would just say they're morally neutral. They're morally neutral people, which is fine. Not everybody has to be this amazing person. Not everybody is an evil person. Sometimes people are just normal people that are just like whatever. But just know that YouTube in general is like high school. It's like a toxic corporate environment. And you have to be aware of that if you want to get into this space, because people are not serious. People will sell you out. They will cancel you. They will do whatever. And again, I'm not saying that's what Michelle did. I think Michelle, it was more so in retaliation, which, to be honest, I support her for that. I don't think it's right for Jaime to lie about her. I don't. I think that's wrong. I think people have the right to, whereas somebody like Megan Ann, I am not a fan of Megan Ann. I am really angry at her for what she did. I'm never going to like her. So sometimes that happens too, where people do certain things and you write them off completely, and that's the thing too. Like, I'm just trying to figure out my space in this, what I'm going to do. I want to entertain you guys. I want to do this. I want to talk about drama because I love it. But I also want to make sure that we're working towards something. And so I'm trying to just synthesize everything. And I hope that that message got across here. But at the end of the day, what do I think about all this drama? I think it's all this ecosystem about how unserious anti-FA is and how unserious it's become to a large extent. And that is upsetting to me. And also how divided it's become and how it's probably going to continue to be divided. It's probably going to continue to get worse. My biggest fear is not that Jaime French gets her feelings hurt or whatever. I don't really care about that. I know that that's kind of mean, but whatever. I don't. What I care about is, what if she gets pushed into fat acceptance talking points, and what if she becomes a fat activist because she's being painted that way already? And I think there's such a thing on YouTube where people try to become the monster that people paint them out to be. Michelle literally said she wanted to dress up as a demon. I'm glad she didn't. What I will say to Michelle, just as some feedback, is like, obviously you're kidding, but even on a deep level, sometimes there's truth to jokes. Don't be what somebody makes you out to be just because they did. I think Michelle is a businesswoman. I think she's very pragmatic. I admire her in a lot of ways, but there are many ways I disagree with her, which, again, let me know if you want me to do a video on that, because I could. But I think I just get so frustrated with online spaces because it's like, if you can't just be okay with somebody, you have to love them or hate them. And it's like, even though I'm angry at Megan Ann, I don't hate her. I don't know her. I just don't take her seriously. I don't think she's for helping anything in the movement. I don't. Because she created a huge divide with that video she did. It was horrible. This type of stuff with the drama and Jaime French and whatever, it's a little bit more benign. It's not as harmful to the movement in general, but it's the only concern I have is, if you paint somebody into that corner of being a fat activist, then it might push them towards becoming it. And that's what I worry about. Because again, no matter what, I may be a messy queen and all this stuff, and I am. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm so holy. I'm not. I will tell you flat out, I'm not. I'm not nice. I'm not super holy. I love gossip and trash talk and all that. I love it. I've told you guys forever. And to be honest, a lot of you guys have told me that you like me for it. So I guess it is what it is, right? You're here. I'm here. Hey. But the thing is, I just think that we need to keep the movement in mind and keep the goal in mind, no matter with what we're doing. No matter how much I want to get on here and talk trash about everybody all the time. I'm just kidding. That's a little bit of an exaggeration. But no matter how much I want to do that, I still do the work every day. I count my calories. I do my exercise. I go to the gym. I do everything I need to do to continue to lose weight because I want to show that I'm not just talking about it, I'm about it. And I think that that's really important to keep in mind as somebody in the audience. Who is really losing the weight? Who is really doing it? Who is offering solutions in addition to everything else? And I'm not saying Michelle hasn't. I think she definitely has. It took me forever to accept that I would have to count calories. She is definitely one of the voices in my head. Me and my friend Eric, we literally call counting calories Michelle McDaniel. So for that, I will appreciate her because that's a huge thing. And so it's like, we need to keep the goal in mind. And you as an audience person need to keep that in mind. Like, is this working us towards somewhere, or is this just only about the money? Like with what you're watching. And I would just ask you to think about it. I'm not saying not to watch anybody. I am not doing that. Do what you need to do. Have fun. This is YouTube. Enjoy who you enjoy. Loves it. You know, if you love Megan Ann, go love her. That's fine. I have no issue with people watching who they want to watch. My whole thing is just, please keep that in mind and don't be as manipulated by people. And that's where I get concerned. But with that, you guys, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day. And we'll talk soon. Bye.